cool. It's not really funny.
Okay, can I preface this story until the beginning of what happened to Dad and I? Okay, so John and I were going to Moroni Feed to get chicken feed one day. And this guy comes up to us, and he's talking to John, and he goes, "Oh, the guy, it was your son. It was your son that did that over in Fountain Green." And we had no idea that Andy had become like this legend in the valley. But everybody had heard this story, and we didn't even know it. So now I'll let him tell you the story.
Okay, so around our house again, there was a whole bunch of sheep there.
In Fountain Green.
In these sheep.
Disturbing amount of stories start with sheep.
That is true.
The basis of a good story.
In these sheep fields, you know, it's a good story. Okay, so we were in these sheep fields, and around these sheep fields, there's all these little pop guys. Prairie dogs. We call them pop guys.
Don't bring him in here.
Anyway, so around this area, our landlord that we were renting, he would tell us, okay, he owned all these fields, and he said, I want you to actually go, or if you can, just kill them when you see them, the prairie dogs, because what would happen is they would get cold.
Prairie dogs were an endangered species. These weren't prairie dogs. They were like rodents that cause disease.
Gopher things, I don't know what they are.
But they like gophers.
Okay, anyway.
They're everywhere.
But, so they would go, and they dig all these holes, and then badgers would go in and try and dig them out of the holes.
Horses, and we worried that
and so in the past, you'd had problems with it hurting their horses' legs, and because they'd be running, and then they'd just fall in the badgers, fall and break their legs. So he said, you guys go out, and we had, we had bow and arrows, and so my mom loves robins and loves birds, and we were out there, and we couldn't find any pockets, and we'd already checked all the sprinkling system pipes, because they'd always go in the sprinkling system pipes, and that's how you shoot it down the pipe, and they'd pop out the other end with it.
Like shit.
Anyway, that's another story. Anyway, so we were clear across and a couple fields away, and we saw these birds in the field. And these birds they must have been, well, I don't know who they were because we wound up getting closer to one, but the standing heights were about this height for these birds.
They were big
cranes with a very thin beak, like a very thin, long beak.
Like herons.
And we saw them, and we were like, oh, what are those? It's like, oh, I think they're birds. And then Andrew's like, what's that? And he's like this, almost pointing it.
And how far away would you say it was?
We were a field away. Like, there was a fence, and then there was clear across, and then there was another fence. And then they were right there. So it was really like a field away. So, and we could barely even see them, and Andrew's like, I'll never hit. And I was like, no, don't do it, because your mom loves this person, and you don't want to hit one. And it's like, I'm never going to hit it. And we just sat there, because it took a long time to get to it, maybe 5 seconds or so, or 5 to 7 seconds, and we were just kind of sitting there, and then we saw them go. One of them flew back in and was like, Mom's gonna kill me! And so we were like, oh, and we went over there, and we were so surprised because from over where we were at, they looked really tiny, but its wingspan was like larger than my arm stretched out, and it was like going like that. And we looked at it, and the arrow had scalped the back of its skull right between its eyes. It's like its eyes were right here, and its head was kind of like that, and it scalped you could see the skull, but it didn't penetrate the skull.
So was it in the air when he did it?
Yes.
It was up in the air.
Yeah, and and its head was
shot it out of the air.
So tiny, it was like this big. And compared to its body, that's tiny. Because it's so tall, And so you're like, oh, no. And so Andrew, he grabbed it, and he's like, come on, fly. And then we, threw it up, and he went, threw it up again. A little bit bigger circle, and then threw it up again, and we saw it go and fly away. But it was kind of flying in circles. And so from that point on, we
had a reputation.
And he was very well known as the a famous archer, I guess, in town, and even far beyond town, because that was in a different
That was a different town.
different town.
The story had gone.
The story had gone too. Yeah.
How's the story told, though? By, you know, because it gets exaggerated.
I'm
sure it is. No,
Yeah.
shot a bear.
Flying air.
It shot blows
And
up.
then after he shot it, he got it to fly away.
It's true.